Howdy guys, lovely to see you all again. I wanted to talk to you about a dear topic to my heart. A topic dear to my heart, if I was to phrase that appropriately. Choosing the right band members, a little bit about toxic relationships, and I think something that's really, really important to talk about is some of the really, really interesting parallels between like marriage or having a relationship or a girlfriend, what have you, and being in a band. Because I think a lot of people don't realize, if you're not in a band, how intense the relationships get. Because you're basically in a room with 3 or 4 other people sharing your dreams, creating adventures and memories. You're traveling together, you're putting in a lot of money together. You're literally almost building this second family. And when something shit happens to one of the band members, a family member passes, a cat dies, you find out someone's got a serious illness. A lot of the time in good bands, when you're that tight, you forget about the fact that you're all holding instruments and you're there for one another. In some cases, especially I felt this more than my actual blood relatives. So you have this really, really tight-knit bond, and that's why when bands break up, some people are like, I can't do this again for a while, because it's exactly like going through a really, really intense relationship breakdown and then just being like, I'm not even going to think about sex. I'm not even going to think about being with another woman. I just need to be alone and figure out who I am again. My brother's just been through a really, really bad breakup, and I was like, I'm sort of looking at him and I'm like, I've been through this, but not necessarily with a girl, like in a band thing. And one thing I've noticed about the band that I've just joined, and it's happened a couple of times in past, but mostly this band more than any other band that I've ever been in, is that we get together, we play music, and we just talk shit and roast each other. And, I think a couple of guys were like, wow, band practice is really, really fun. And I'm like, what do you mean? It was almost a surprise. And I think when you've got the wrong personalities in the band, band practice can feel like a chore. You get together, you've got to tighten up the material, and it's boring. And then in between it, there's no witty banter. It's like having another job. And I think for me, if music is going to feel like work, the return on the investment should be amazing wads of cash. There's no reason for me to play music without it in really, really speaking to me and feeding my soul and me being a happier person. If I hate it, to not be making heaps of cash. That's the only reason. Because why would you do it? Why would you sully something so beautiful and so enjoyable? You're just I guess I should be in a band, but I don't really like it. So it's you could be spending that time sewing or playing video games or learning how to cook curry. So only be in those situations when you're really, really enjoying it, because then you drag everyone down with you. And, if you've ever been in bands with toxic people and people that just bring down the mood, you're like, oh, shit, I have to see that guy again. Oh my God, I've got to teach this other guy his parts. He's probably going to be really stubborn about the shit song that he's wrote and the bits that I want to change, but everyone needs to have their input. And it's that ego that toxic people bring into the band situation that makes you have a stomach aching, oh, I don't know if I can do this. It's you get older and older and start to realize I can't do this shit anymore. And it's the same as having a really, really hot girlfriend that treats you like shit. It gets to a point where you're it doesn't matter what this person's musical ability is. If going to band practice is going to feel like absolute shit, and the thought of touring and writing music together, you can't do it anymore. And I think a lot of people probably need to hear that and sort of look at, do I have an amazing guitarist or vocalist in my band that treats everyone like shit, and is it worth continuing? Would it be better to start a new project or look for someone else and just remove this really, really sick feeling? Because it's meant to be fun, it's meant to be enjoyable. And for me, when people are like, oh, music's a good hobby or whatever, it's I've been playing guitar since I was 6. I can literally think I've been playing guitar from before I learned how to do it with my shoelaces. It's just something that's always been there. When people are do you like music? And I'm it's kind of at this point, it's like an organ to me. It's do you like having a liver? I'm it's pretty good. It's always been there. It's kind of crucial to my survival. So yeah, I guess I'm into it. So for me, it's always been there, and I'm going to keep doing it regardless of what happens. But I think looking at those people that you bring into your life and that are going to bring you down, and then once you actually replace them, and it's like going through a breakup and then meeting a new girl who's like, hey, I'm not going to punish you for bullshit stuff that doesn't make sense, and I'm not going to like make up weird mind games in my head and trick you into an argument because like my dad didn't come to my ballet recital when I was 5. It's like that can happen in your band situations as well. And as soon as you remove those people and you get like an easygoing bass player who's like, hey man, I learned the parts, let's have fun, let's play the parts really well, and then we'll have a break in an hour and just talk about like other crap. That's kind of like, I think, the dream that we should all be shooting for in our band situations, is, you know, making music with people that you like. If the money comes, great, but you don't want to look back on the time you wasted with douchebags and the energy you spent, you know, getting stomach aches and anxiety. And you know, a friend of mine actually had some serious issues with his adrenal glands and got incredibly sick, nearly died, I think, as a result of band stress. And I've actually got 2 friends that have gone through that. Another friend had a thyroid induced psychotic event where, you know, she didn't know what she was saying, and she ended up going to hospital and she was muttering. And you know, when your thyroid's in that sort of point of like hyperadrenaline, anything can happen. And I think it is induced by stress and trauma. And I think anything is possible with mental health to push you over the edge. So we've got to start taking care of our mental health. We've got to bring the right people into our lives. We've got to lose the shit girlfriends and the shit band members, and just bring good people into our lives so that the music that we create is coming from a beautiful place and we can actually stand the people in the room that we're creating it with. Anyway, enough of a rant for today. Please leave a comment. I know I babbled, but if you have anything to add to this discussion, please do. Mwah.